What's going on, everybody? It is football time and it is week one. We're about 3 days away from kickoff. We got football this week and it is an exciting season upon us. I feel like this season is gonna hit different. When I have a gut feeling that a season is, gonna go, I feel like it'll go well. Not and this doesn't just apply to my team. I feel like it'll be a good season overall, one that we can all enjoy. Because I honestly feel a little worse about my team than I did last year, and last season was an absolute. I just didn't enjoy it. Gonna be real with you. But I still am looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to seeing all the different matchups, all the different teams. Obviously, week one is, special for me because, that's obviously the first time in a few months that I get to come on here and make these picks videos. So I love it. And, after a long off season, looks like we're back in action. So, yeah, let's get into these week one picks. I'm going to go through each matchup like I did and like I've done for a while, and I'm going to tell you who I got winning. But let's get into it, man. Starting off on Thursday night, we got an NFC East rivalry. We got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So Dallas enters without Micah Parsons, obviously after that shocking trade they had with Green Bay. He has been their defensive anchor, and now their pass rush will just continue to look like a shadow of himself. The Cowboys were also one of the worst running defenses. They allowed, I think, 25 touchdowns last year on the ground. That's not good. And, Zach Martin also retired, so injuries are just haunting their offensive line as well. The deck just feels stacked against them, like just heading into this year. And the Eagles are healthy. Landon Dickerson and AJ Brown I believe they made their return. They were out for a bit, but they also added obviously last year Saquon Barkley. You saw what he did. Philadelphia's defense has the fewest yards per play allowed in the NFL last year. They did lose a little bit, but Dallas's offense is still searching for answers. With Dak Prescott coming off probably his worst season, I'm confident that the Eagles are going to handle this to start 1-0 because I just think the Cowboys are in for a rude awakening, and the Eagles got so much momentum. They're coming off a Super Bowl, playing at home. They absolutely hate the Dallas Cowboys, and I think they would love nothing more than to bury them at home to start off the year. So I think they're going to handle this rivalry game with relative ease. I know it's going to be a disappointing, entrance for the Cowboys into this year, and probably NFL fans if this game doesn't go as as good as people might hope. So yeah, but I got the Eagles all day every day in this one. Moving on to Friday, a neutral sided game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, showcase for the AFC West. The Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers. The reason I say at is because the Chargers are the home team. I know I have the Los Angeles SoFi Stadium here, but it is in Brazil. But the Chiefs bring Mahomes, Andy Reid. They're going to be, I think, without Rashee Rice, who's suspended for 6 games. So that's an aging Travis Kelce, obviously, and Hollywood Brown is still there. They're the top weapons, I would say, for that team. Their offensive line also took a hit a little bit with Joe Tooney gone. So that raises a little bit of questions about the protection. But the Chargers also had one of the best defenses in football last year, I think they gave up only 300 points or something, which is the fewest in the league. So they've got a standout defense, and they added some more pieces in the draft. So the Chiefs have owned the division, but week ones are always really weird, and I think LA can take advantage of the early season right now, and I'm actually going to pick them to do that. I'm going to pick them to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Brazil. I think it'll be a good. Not to say Kansas City won't win the division still, because I still think they will, but I think LA week one is always very tricky, and the Chargers play the Chiefs very tough. So I do think this will be another situation where the Chargers grab one. And yeah, I think they make a statement at home. I think Justin Herbert has a good game. I think they'll just have a good game overall. I'm pretty high on the Chargers this year, but we'll see. That defense can be as good as it was last year. I see no reason why they can't compete with the Chiefs. So with the early season issues, sometimes that Kansas City could, sometimes has the potential to face. I'll side with LA for this one, especially because week ones they're the hardest to predict, guys. Moving on to Sunday, we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Indianapolis Colts. So Miami is coming in limping. I mean, their secondary is a mess, probably the worst it's been in a while. I think Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane have been dealing with injuries. The Colts they hand the offense to Daniel Jones. I think Jonathan Taylor, I believe, is still healthy. So Indy's offensive line, if they can, kind of rely on it, Miami's weaknesses up front. And the Colts are not very good in openers, but this feels like the chance to break that trend a little bit. Miami's coming in a little hobbled, and I don't know. I feel like Indy, especially you guys know what I said. It's hard for them to, you know, it's hard in week one. It's just hard for like to pick. I gotta be honest, and their O line also is banged up. So I think the Colts, being the home team, I think they're gonna grab another win here at home. And I think that this is another kind of upset. I really don't have an upset for the week, guys, because like week one's it's just impossible. So I really don't view it as an upset. It's just kind of free all. So yeah, I think the Colts take this one at home over the Miami Dolphins. Sunday slate of games. Well, I mean, that was the last game as well. But continuing the Sunday slate of games, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey to take on the New York Jets. So this one's a little juicy. So Justin Fields makes his Jets debut against the team he just left, obviously the Steelers. But New York is also bringing in, they broke in, I mean, their offensive line is just a mess. And it was a mess last year, the year before, obviously. And that's just a nightmare against T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. They brought a new coach, Aaron Glenn. I think that defense could be stabilized, but they bring Aaron Rodgers under center. DK Metcalf is also a top target. Caleb Johnson's also a good draft pick for them. Week one has been a pretty good. Mike Tomlin especially has a pretty good week one track record, and playing against an inferior Jets team, I think the Steelers have the capability to honestly, I think they're going to win this game because I just think the Jets are coming in a little bit just with more question marks in this. I mean, both teams have question marks, but the Jets are coming in with a little bit more. And Aaron Rodgers, I mean, if he can be somewhat like himself, I think they have potential to be a really good team. But, I don't think any of these teams are great by any stretch. But for this one, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that this will be a game that they feel like a little bit of the steadier side, and on defense, I think they'll give some problems to Justin Fields. But I think it could be a close game. But I think also if you look at it, it's kind of a revenge game for Aaron Rodgers as well. I mean, it's kind of a revenge for both sides. But yeah, I'll say the Steelers get this one. I think they're just better coming into this game. So I'm going Pittsburgh to beat New York. Moving on, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Carolina's banking on Bryce Young's strong finish from last year, but they traded away Adam Thielen also. I think he went back to Minnesota, so their defense was also one of the worst in the NFL. Jacksonville also has a little bit of optimism there. I mean, Trevor Lawrence now has Liam Cohen calling plays, and some young weapons like Travis Hunter also joins. So the offense should be good. The Jaguars may be shaky in September. They always start off a little bit slow, but I think the roster is a lot more complete than they were last year. I think Jacksonville wins this one. I think Bryce Young has a little bit of a ascent, but I think this is a big year for him because if he doesn't make progress, I think Carolina is going to have to kind of look away from him a little bit. So I'm going to go Jacksonville in this one. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints are they're rebuilding like crazy. I mean, they're probably the worst team in football. I have them as the worst team in football. Spencer Rattler's QB1. Derek Carr also retired. He went 0-6 as a starter last year and completed under 60% of his passes, and now an Arizona team that's kind of trending upwards, I guess. They got some rookies like Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, and Josh Sweat also got added. Kyler Murray's also been one of the best, early season quarterbacks, which is funny. The Saints don't have the worst defense in the world, but I think Arizona is a little bit sharper, and they're just a little better coming into this game. Could I see a scenario where the Saints win? Again, this is week one, so I absolutely could, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to just go into there and just beat the Saints. I don't think it'll be like a crazy blowout, but honestly, I think that they'll beat them pretty good. So I'm going Arizona in this one. Another divisional matchup here. We got the New York Giants heading to the nation's capital to play the Washington Commanders. So the Commanders were last year's surprise story. Jaden Daniels had a breakout season. Now he has Terry McLaurin, and they also added Deebo Samuel as weapons, and then a sturdier offensive line. The Giants also brought in Russell Wilson to kind of stabilize their QB play. They added some defensive guys like Brian Burns and Abdul Carter. So I think it'll be a hard-nosed divisional game. Both teams are, going to play hard, but at the end of the day, I think Washington is a little bit scrappier, and I think that I like them here at home. So I'm going to pick them to beat the Giants in a tough game, actually. But I think the Giants, they do close in the gap a little bit. I think Washington maybe wins, I'll say, by 7. So I like the Commanders in this one. Another divisional matchup here, we got the Tampa Bay Bucs taking on the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons, obviously, they swept the series last year, and that was also without Michael Penix Jr., so we don't know what's going to happen with that, but he has some talent. I mean, obviously, Raheem Morris, he rested the starters, so I trust me, that's not a good idea. That at least the slugger starts. As a Bengals fan, I would know better than anybody. But if you guys know this, Todd Bowles actually has a really good record in week 1, and I think the roster is very consistent. And I really think Baker Mayfield can really ascend to the next level. I don't think Baker Mayfield's elite, but he's a quality starter that can win you some games. And with Mike Evans there, Tampa Bay should come out a lot more prepared than Atlanta. So yeah, even though the Falcons did best them twice last year, I'm backing up the Tampa Bay Bucs to win this one on the road, start off hot. Again, I don't like the Falcons resting their starters in preseason. I don't. So, could I see a situation where, again, they pull off a rabbit out of I sure can, because it's week 1, like I said, but I just don't like that. So I think they get off to a little bit of a sluggish start, and I got Tampa Bay winning this one. Battle of Ohio, my game. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns. I will have a preview on this coming out as well. This one is in Cleveland, Ohio, Huntington Bank Stadium. So let's talk about the Bengals. I won't speak too much on this because, obviously I have the preview out, which will have a lot. For years, we've been kind of slow out of the gate. Obviously, we're 1-11 in the last 6 years under Zach Taylor in week 1 and 2. But this preseason, they made a lot of progress simply by getting us some reps, getting our starters some reps. That should help with avoiding some of the flat starts that we've had, but there's no guarantee. It's the NFL. You got to play. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they are signed. The Bengals have the firepower that Cleveland is going to have to deal with. But also Cleveland also has Joe Flacco starting. So I think he's solid, but I don't know if he brings the ceiling to keep up with, the Bengals offense. But again, that Bengals defense has a lot of question marks. I mean, Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart, who knows what they're going to do. If they can bring some pressure to that defensive line, I really like or that offensive line, rather, of the Browns. I really like our chances in this one, because I think that opens up the gap for better defensive play from the defensive backs and the safeties and everything, because the pass rush is where it all starts. The Bengals, man, we are going to have to prove we are contenders. And I said this, you can talk. I said this before. If we lose this game, I will not be happy a little bit, not even a little bit happy. Like, I'll be probably more infuriated than we lost when we lost to New England last year in week 1. And trust me, I was infuriated when we lost to New England. But I do like that we played our preseason starters for a good bit, actually. I mean, we had people asking, why is Joe Burrow still out there? So I like the fact that we played, our guys in preseason, but we'll just see how it matches. But the offensive line is going to have to contain Myles Garrett as well. I mean, Myles Garrett's no slouch himself. He's obviously extended, as was, our 2 receivers. And we also got Trey Hendrickson, locked up for another year. So Myles Garrett, it's going to be important for us to slow him down and, just go after their guys. Go after Denzel, go after Newsome and everybody. I mean, Chase and Higgins, they definitely have the capability to, beat them too. And then the Bengals, I mean, yeah, as much as we've struggled with the Browns, I mean, we have beaten them 4 of the last 5 games. But, yeah, I mean, there's no gimme game. The Browns always play us tough, and, they've beaten us pretty good over the years, especially, I would say, since 2017. They've really kind of turned a corner against us. I mean, before that, we used to own these guys. I mean, from 15 to 17, we'd swept them 3 straight years. And, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I want to feel better about this. I feel good about this because I feel a lot better about this. I'll tell you this. I feel a lot better about this game than I did in 2023 when we went to Cleveland. I wouldn't say I feel better than, I mean, I felt really good in the New England one, but looking back at it, it's like, yeah, I guess we just didn't play our preseason starters, so I kind of see why we got off to those slow starts. But yeah, as far as like the Browns, I mean, just got to contain Flacco. Flacco doesn't have a good history against us. He's 9-12, I believe. So we have to get to him. He's 40 years old as well. It's important for us to get to him, man. So yeah, like I said, we want to prove we're back as contenders because you can't miss the playoffs 3 straight years. That's just not gonna fly here. Period. So, by the way, I forgot to say this in the preview as well. I'll have that out as well in a couple days. But I will be live with my guy Crazy Dog Sports. He's a big diehard Browns fan. We're gonna be talking about the game. It'll be the night before, so make sure you tune into that. It'll be Saturday night, and yeah, we'll just talk about the Battle of Ohio. And yeah, we'll just ramble on. But as far as the game, guys, I think the Bengals, man, we need this opener. So that's why I'm actually going to pick us to win this game. And yeah, last year we won for the first time in Cleveland since 2017. Let's start a winning streak there. Yeah, I think that we'll go into Cleveland and we get the job done. But yeah, I mean, as long as we don't get off of those slow starts, I think we'll be fine. And, this sets us up well heading into the home opener against Jacksonville. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Bengals to go into Cleveland and get a W. So yeah, 1-0 to start the year for the Bengals. Next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the New England Patriots. So Las Vegas now has Pete Carroll as their head coach and Geno Smith at quarterback. So they're up against a Patriots team that has a top 10 defense. Mike Vrabel has a little bit of an identity thing with him, and then Drake May is also entering his second year. Travion Henderson's been a monster in this preseason. New England has every right to be optimistic. I mean, the Raiders, don't get me wrong, they have some playmakers and they got the coach. But Foxborough is a tough road test, and the Patriots defense, I think, is going to be a lot better. And, two great coaches, I would say, Pete Carroll and Mike Vrabel. I'm not going to say I have doubt, but whenever there is a smidge of a doubt, I tend to go with the home team. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go with New England to get the win in week 1. But we'll see if Drake May can continue to take that step. But yeah, I'm going to go New England in this one. And we got another divisional matchup here. San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. So San Francisco is just banged up. Their receiver room is thin. Their defensive line is going to read on some rookies in week 1. That's not an ideal situation against Seattle. Kenneth Walker can exploit that. The Seahawks have not been great at home, but it's going to be important for Brock Purdy to figure something out, man. The offense needs to get going. McCaffrey as well. I think Sam Darnold gives them a little bit of a better look at quarterback than Geno Smith. I'm not saying Geno Smith was bad, but I think Sam Darnold will be a little better than him. 49ers are not at full strength. I'm going to go Seattle here. They're at home. I guess this, if you want to call it, this is my upset, but I really don't view it as an upset because it's a division game. It's week 1, and I think Seattle's just going to take advantage of them being banged up. So I got Seattle here, and they tend to play San Francisco tough too. So give me Seattle in this one. And moving on to another 4 p.m. game, we got Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos. So the Titans are turning to number 1 pick Cam Ward. So this is just this is still a roster. I mean, at the end of the day, the roster may have some talent, but it's the roster that got him the number 1 pick. So Denver is going to counter meanwhile with a top 5 defense. So a quarterback in Bo Nix who has, a year of experience in Sean Payton's system. So add in some of the altitude, home field advantage, and all that. Broncos have a lot of advantages in this game. I think Cam Ward, he can get off to a good start. It'll be a litmus test for him, especially going up against that Broncos defense. But, that altitude and that environment combined with the fact that they're just a good team. I got Denver in this one winning, and they cruise to a week 1 win, and they get the job done over Tennessee. So give me the Broncos. Another divisional round game here. We got the Detroit Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers. So Detroit has dominated this rivalry recently, but the Packers also added Michael Parsons to a front 7. Their fans are just fired up. I think that a lot of their fans are saying they're better than the Eagles and the Rams and everything. I mean, they're definitely up there. Their defense is, going to be even better. Obviously, Parsons is going to add to their defense, who was top 10 last year. But the Lions also are adjusting to some new coordinators, and Jared Goff has been good in openers, but I don't know, Lambeau's a tough place to start. Week 1, Lions may be the better team. I have them being the better team. But I'm actually going to go with the Green Bay Packers to pull it off here. Tough start for the Lions, but like I said, Packers are a good team, so nothing to be ashamed of if they do lose. But yeah, give me the Packers at Lambeau Field over the defending back-to-back NFC North champion Detroit Lions. Next up, we got The Texans, the Houston Texans, heading to Los Angeles, Cali to play the Los Angeles Rams. So Houston's on the ride with C.J. Stroud, but their offensive line is unsettled. They shipped away Laramie Tunsil. That's a problem against Jared Verse. I think that Rams defense, obviously Aaron Donald is gone. Matthew Stafford's not 100%, but, I think with Puka Nacua and some new additions, like, Devontae Adams as well, Sean McVay has a good week 1 track record. I'm going to side with the Rams here because, Houston, I expect them to be better. I expect Stroud to be better. Maybe last year was just a little bit of a slump. They still won a playoff game, but I expect a little bit of a slump here. But I'm going to go with LA to get the job done here. And, I'm siding with the Rams to get a win here over the Houston Texans. Sunday night slate of games here. We got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo has not lost a home game in the regular season since 2022. Baltimore comes in as one of the most complete teams in the NFL, obviously. This is a rematch of the playoffs last year. Lamar leads the offense. Obviously, they can punish defense with both tight ends, Likely and Andrews. The Ravens also added DeAndre Hopkins, so that strengthens a little bit of their weakest spots. Malachi Starks also. Josh Allen's still a force at home, though, and he seems to do... Look, last regular season game, I know in Baltimore wasn't good, but he tends to do better against the Ravens and the Bills' chemistry. I think they have a slight edge here. It's the game of the week here, but this will be a tough one. I think that, Baltimore is driven and they want revenge, obviously, for last year, but I think Buffalo holds serve here at home. I'm going with the Bills to get the win here on Sunday Night Football. But, again, this will be another kind of back-and-forth game, I think, and, I wouldn't be surprised in any way if the Ravens do win. But right now, I got Buffalo slightly because they're the home team and they have a little bit going more for them than Baltimore. And lastly, we got NFC North matchup here. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. This one's in Soldier Field. Chicago enters with a new offensive line, plenty of weapons, but they're starting Caleb Williams' rival, J.J. McCarthy in primetime. The Vikings have their flaws, but they still have Justin Jefferson. Their defense should be a little better this year. But I think, this one was kind of tough. I really didn't know what direction to go because both these teams, I think, they're close to each other. But, actually, I know that I said I tend to go home team here, but the Vikings, I think, are a little bit more battle-tested right now. Not to say that they will be later in the year. Maybe the Bears could help them. But I'm actually going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to escape Soldier Field here with a win. So, tough one here, but, yeah, I think they get it done here over the Chicago Bears. So, give me the Vikings. And that will do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Ready for football, man. We're about 3 days away. You guys take care. Have a good one. Football is back.